In these guided writing lessons, I will talk you through how to write answers for the IELTS writing section. Welcome to guided lesson writing number 2. Here I will guide you through describing a map or plan. In guided lesson 2, we're going to write an answer to task 1, map description. You can find this map in the material section of this lesson along with the model answer or in this video. For extra practice of maps, you will find the materials in our workbook. You can skip this slide if you know what's important. If you need a reminder, then carry on watching. Let's remind ourselves of what's really important to include in your map description in order to get a good score. In task achievement, first of all, you need to write at least 150 words. Although you won't be penalised for writing less, it is a good idea to write that many so that your answers include the information necessary and to show the examiner you can write a substantial piece of writing in the set time. You won't be penalised for writing too many words. However, we recommend you stay as close to possible as to the word limit so that you don't include too much detail or give yourself a chance to make too many mistakes, of course. For a good score in task achievement, you also need to include a clear overview of the main features of the map or plan. This is just the same as in describing a chart or a table, and we will have a closer look at exactly what goes in the overview later on in this lesson. You have to include the main features of the map and include data from the map to support those main features. The data in this case should be things like locations on the chart, to the left of, next to the north of, etc. You shouldn't include or write about all the features in detail as that will lower your score. When it comes to cohesion and coherence, it's important that your writing is logically written and structured, that it progresses from one idea to the next, and you should use some linking words and signpost words such as firstly, in general, however, and some cohesive devices such as replacing words with pronouns. Then we come to the lexical resource. So this is your vocabulary. Here they are looking for a good range of relevant vocabulary, so you need to use words that are relevant to describing maps and plans, and you must make sure that you use them accurately and that your spelling is accurate. You can find a list of phrases and words in your workbook. Lastly, the examiners are looking for a good range of grammatical structures. That means they want to see some longer sentences, including subordinate clauses. You also need to be aware of punctuation and accuracy. For more details, you can see the band descriptors which you can find in your workbooks. Let's remind ourselves of the stages on how best to write a map description. First of all, you need to take roughly a minute to look at the task, and in that minute you need to read the task question very carefully and have a very careful look at the map or plan. Decide what is the overview, what are the main features. Once you've done that, you need to take a minute to write a short introduction, followed by about 3 minutes to write your very important overview. Then you should take around 13 minutes to write your main body, a minute to finish off with a short conclusion, and a minute to check your writing. Now, in the next few slides, we're going to go through the guided part of this lesson. So I'm going to write a map or plan description, and you can follow the lesson with me. You don't need to practice with me this time. You can practice after. So just follow the lesson and watch what I do. First of all, the first stage is to look at the task. So we need to ask ourselves, what is the map about? We need to find the answers to the questions what, where, and when, if possible. So here it shows the what, which are the changes made to hospital surroundings in 2 years. and the when is 2007 and 2010. It doesn't say where it is. So you don't need to mention that if it's not here. I've underlined that in red. So I haven't written anything here. I've just underlined it. Now you have to have a quick look at what the overview could be. So you can see, as a reminder, you need to describe in your overview the main changes that you can see, and I've noted these in green. So you can see that the main changes are about and related to the access to the hospital and not actually to the hospital building. So nothing's actually changed there. So that would be your very rough overview. And at this stage, you need to choose and circle some of the main features. I've highlighted these in blue here. We're going to include them all in the answer as there aren't that many different changes. So you have to decide sort of on the day whether you include every single detail or not. But in this case, we're going to include the main features and most of the changes that have taken place. So they are the access, we've got information on new roads, the roundabouts, the bus station, as well as the car parks. Okay, now on to stage 2. So you've got to write your short introduction, including, if possible, what, where, and when. You can reformulate or paraphrase the question. So the question was, the 2 maps below show access to a city hospital in the years 2007 and 2010. And this is my introduction. Please, again, don't forget that this is just one possible answer. So the 2 maps show the changes that took place accessing a city hospital over a 3-year period from 2007 to 2010. All I've done here is included the 3 key points, what, where and when. The where would be in the hospital. That's the only clue as to the location. As there isn't a really good synonym for access, I've kept the word, just change the word type. So that's a good idea. If there isn't a synonym that you can think of, you can change the type of word. So it was a noun, access, and I've changed it to a gerund, accessing. Okay, now we're going to write the overview. It's very important to write a clear overview in order to get a 5 or more. You should not include any numbers or data. The overview is especially challenging here, I found. It's easy to start talking about the details, which is what we shouldn't be doing. So always start your overview with a linking word such as overall or, as I have used, in general. I suggest you write your overall overview at the beginning of your answer so you don't forget to include it. It can, however, always go at the end as a conclusion. I have chosen what I think are the main changes, which are all related to access. So my overview is, in general, it is clear that the largest changes involved in getting to and from the hospital, and nothing significant was changed in the building itself. Now you need to write the main body. You have to include the main features which you circled or chose in the planning stage, and you need to support these with data and numbers from the map or the plan. You also need to think about the structure of your writing, as it's important that it is well organised and progresses clearly in order to get a good score. It doesn't matter how you organise your writing, but it must be logical and clear. You should make sure you use appropriate vocabulary and a good range of grammatical structures. Now we'll have a look at the main body that I have written. Cohesion is highlighted in blue, so linking words and replacing words, for example. I have highlighted a good use of vocabulary in orange. Take some time to read the model answer and press pause on the video. And when you've finished, you can press play and it will go to the next slide. If you can and you have time, then you can write a short conclusion to finish off your writing neatly. It really is a reworded overview. Don't worry too much about the conclusion. The overview is way more important and an introduction than a conclusion. This is my conclusion. In conclusion, there are only a few changes between the two maps. They are mainly traffic related. Now you need to take a minute to check your writing. Check for spelling mistakes, legibility, and punctuation. It's really important that the examiner is able to read your writing, so make it as neat as possible. And if you've made a mistake, cross it out and make it clear where your correction is. Here's my sample answer, which would get a 9. However, please remember this is just one way of many to answer this question. To reiterate, you can see that the clear introduction, where we've included what, where and when, is in orange, a clear overview in green, and the main features including the data in purple. Again, you can press pause on this video and press play when you've finished reading. Now you can practice alone using the tasks in your workbook and comparing your answers to the model answers. Or you can upload your answers to me for detailed feedback. You can find practice for describing maps and plans in your workbook on task number 1.12, 1.13 and 1.16.